Somebody in this camera shot just became freshly unemployed. I quit my job. If you're wondering how that's going for me so far, it is currently like almost 10 a.m., which is a few hours later than I would usually be eating breakfast because I was up all night watching Miguel O'Hara edits. So I would say I'm doing fantastic. You already know what I'm about to make for breakfast. I don't want to hear it. Hey, get out the trash. Zip. I'm not gonna explain how I'm doing this because it's oatmeal. You make the oats, you make the meal. That's why it's called. The truth is, I own 2 knife sharpeners and don't really know how to use either of them. So this cute little guy hasn't been sharpened once, I think, in the 4 years I've had him. I'm slicing these things up with brute force more than I am with any sharpness left in this blade. It's like cutting tomatoes with a hammer at this point. I forgot to make it pretty. I don't think you understand how attached I am to my little morning oatmeal routine. Like, the thought of trying to cook something else for myself in the morning, it kind of gives me like a little shiver. Like, it's not natural. It's not right, you know? My body yearns for the sludge. I can't help it. Now you gotta get lost for a minute so I can have my phone back to watch more Miguel O'Hara edits. Thank you. Usually when I wake up in the mornings, I make myself a little glass of water with a pinch of pink Himalayan salt in it. I don't know what it does. Something hydration, something minerals. Honestly, I think its main benefit is that it gives me the illusion of having extra healthy water, and that makes me feel better. And for me, that reason alone is enough to continue doing it. I love my little delusions. I love deceiving myself, placeboing myself in these little harmless ways. But I got my IUD removed a couple days ago. This morning, I noticed that I was bleeding a little bit for the first time in like 2 or 3 years, which, I'm not gonna lie, does have me shaking in my socks a little bit down here because my periods were nearly debilitating back when I was still getting them. So I got some of this raspberry leaf tea. It's supposed to be very helpful for managing period cramps and some other PMS symptoms. So I'm gonna make myself a big old cup of this stuff, and we're gonna make that our morning drink. I'll probably be drinking a few cups of this every day for the whole time I'm filming this video, so I will let you guys know if I notice it's doing anything for me. With my raspberry tea, I also had to take my multivitamin because I have a deficiency now because I wasn't taking them when my doctor told me to. The raspberry tea itself didn't taste awful. I mean, by medicinal tea standards, like, it wasn't atrocious. Now I'm hyping myself up to take the pill because I do not like taking pills. I don't like taking pills at all. It took me a full almost 40 seconds to swallow this one pill. And then by the time I finally got that one down, I had to take another one and spend 40 seconds choking it down too. I took a shower, did some work around the house, and then it was time for lunch. Every time I go to a ramen bar, I always save the broth so I can bring it home and dip my sandwiches in it. Today I decided I was gonna try to make my own ramen broth. Was going great until halfway through the first batch I realized my tahini was 8 months expired. Threw out the whole thing, started it over from the beginning, simmered some water on the stove with a scoop of vegetable bouillon, some soy sauce, sriracha, rice vinegar, and sesame seed oil. I did want it to be a creamier broth base, but I looked in my cabinets and realized I forgot to buy coconut milk, so I had to substitute with some almond milk, was not my ideal pick for this recipe. Really just watered it down a little bit, I think, but it came out fine in the end. I am a little bit of a hoe for a good tomato sandwich. Bread, tomato, mayo, salt, pepper. That's it. Simple, easy. Today I had an avocado I needed to use up, so I sliced up a little bit of that to add to the sandwich, and I also cut up some thick slices of extra firm tofu because I am a tofu enjoyer. If you eat it plain, it's almost like eating chewy air, which is a sensation I happen to enjoy a lot. Mostly it just adds a little bit of protein to the sandwich. Season it with salt, assemble the whole thing. Is she going to win any awards for her beauty, her poise, her presentation? Maybe not, but I crave this meal. It is so simple and warming and comforting to me. I'm watching this back now and I'm just getting cravings for it all over again. I was covered in broth by the end of this video. It was so good. For dinner, I decided to make some mashed potato bowls. Started off with some potatoes that were I bought this a week ago. Not in like ideal condition, but we work with what we have. Then my dogs started fighting each other in ritual combat, which is a pretty normal Wednesday night in this household, peeling potatoes while my dogs hang each other from the rafters. I was tired and a little bit cranky because I got a late start to my day and I don't like deviating from my routine, so I made these bowls in just about the laziest way possible. Aside from the potatoes themselves, I took every shortcut I could manage. Now I'm showing you my favorite wooden spoon. It is the best wooden spoon, the prettiest and the nicest to hold in your hand, and the secret to getting that good smooth mashed potato texture is to stir it with a wooden spoon. Gave it a taste. It was not hitting the way it should have, so we threw some more butter in there. Heated up some white beans on the stove for my protein. Would these have tasted so much better if I had sauteed actual onions and garlic into them? Yes. But who's got the energy to do that on a Wednesday evening at 8:30 p.m.? Gave the potatoes another taste, they were perfect. Stuck some green beans in the microwave, put some corn on the stove with a little bit of sugar. And here is the complete plate. And you know what? I made it halfway through this plate before I realized I forgot to make the gravy. Gravy, the most important part of mashed potatoes, second only to the potatoes. I mean, I still scraped the plate clean though. Right before bed, I had a little bit of ice cream. You can't even see the ice cream. There we go. The ice cream in question was this raspberry cheesecake coconut milk ice cream from Aldi's. The feelings this ice cream makes me feel. Aldi's, if you don't put this ice cream on your permanent rotation, I might have to do unspeakable and violent things. Please don't let it come to that, Aldi's. I did both at once. Doing some gentle yoga this morning. I went on like a 6-mile bike ride yesterday. Do not have the energy to pull another one today. I'm not very good at yoga, but I do enjoy it, so that's okay. I've been more consistent this year in working out than I have at any other point in my life. I think a lot of that success comes from the fact that I no longer feel pressure to stick with any specific workout routine. Like I had to commit to yoga every morning or going to the gym and lifting weights 5 nights a week. The only thing I worry about now is just that I'm moving in some way more days than I'm not. So if that means taking the dogs on a walk, going on a hike, going on a bike ride, doing yoga, going to the gym, whatever sounds best to me in the moment, that's what I'm gonna do. And that's how I've found actual consistency in being more active. When I do it this way, it doesn't feel like a chore either. I just let myself do whatever sounds the most fun in that moment. So working out starts to feel, it becomes something I start to look forward to. So I may never excel or even get good at any of the different workouts I do, but that isn't the point anymore. The goal is just to be doing something and to not be miserable while I'm doing it. And you know what? I still notice that I feel a lot better and that I'm getting in much better shape. My posture is so bad. Like my hands, I get the tingles like when your arms are asleep when I do those. For lunch, I made a sandwich to go with my leftover soup. I think it may have tasted a little bit better the second day. Like all those flavors had a chance to sort of marinate together. I have a confession to make. 80% of the time you see me sitting down eating a meal, that is fake. Staged. Most of the time I'm eating, I'm doing it on my feet, walking around, as God intended. Some of you may remember this snack from kindergarten. I made some ants on a log. Celery, peanut butter, raisins, except I don't eat raisins on my ants on a log anymore because I'm an adult. I eat chocolate, 85% dark, because I'm not playing around here. The crunch, immaculate sound experience. It might be half the reason I eat them. I was not hungry for dinner until like 8:30 p.m. and by the time that rolled around, I did not have the energy to put together some elaborate meal in the kitchen, so I just heated up leftovers again. But this time, I remembered to make the gravy, and it was fantastic. It was everything this dish was missing when I made it before. The potatoes just needed a little bit of wetness, you know? That's maybe the least appetizing way I could say it, but they just needed to be a little bit wet. And then before bed, I had ice cream again, which means I literally just ate exactly what I had the day before, which is riveting content, I'm sure. But the next day, we're making moves, we're taking chances, we're shaking things up. I'm having a smoothie for breakfast. This is good. This is great even. I love just a big serving of fruit in the morning. And it's good to switch things up sometimes, you know. I'm gonna make another of my favorite sandwiches. I just tear up some extra firm tofu into a bowl, and we'll add some mayo, mustard. I could have mixed this sauce before I took tofu, and then season it however you like. I add a little bit of turmeric for color. This in the summer, it's been like 100 degrees out recently. Sometimes I just want a cold meal, and this is what I usually come back to. What seals this sandwich is some butter on the bread. I heard that this is how they make egg salad sandwiches in Japan. Gave it a try once and have not gone back since. Butter on a sandwich will take it to another level. I'm also going to use up the rest of this tomato and avocado from my last sandwich, because I want to get through all of these leftovers. Ooh, do you know what I forgot to put in this? Some apple cider vinegar. Next time. I'll leave some of the recipes I use in the description, but full warning, I don't follow them. I don't measure things, as you've maybe noticed by now. I let my heart decide that. It's dinner time. Some of you may recognize what I'm about to make for us. I'm making the black bean curry again, because I'm nothing if not a predictable bitch. Am I shaking the phone right now with I already got my rice going in my cute little pink tiny rice cooker. She's just gonna be here for moral support for aesthetic purposes. Anyway, this dinner is really quick and easy, and I'm starving. So let's get this going already so I can start shoving my face in front of a camera. I am using fresh garlic this time. I was gonna use fresh onion too, but I looked in my pantry to grab one and they were all squishy like stress balls. Because I had waited a little bit too long to use them. This recipe only calls for black beans, but I like to use black beans and red beans just for a little variety. Just for a little bit of spice things up a tiny bit, you know? Now, we season. Technically, I was supposed to season when the garlic was in there, but I don't think it. I think the chefs are sort of lying to us when they tell me that makes a difference. I still don't have coconut milk. I really hope coconut cream does basically the same thing here. Oh, that's good. And now we just let it all simmer. The longer you let it simmer, the more the flavors get to marinate and the better it ends up when you put it all over your rice. Here it is. I added leftover green beans from the potatoes and avocado from the sandwiches. The microwave green beans. The microwave green beans are a bit of a step down from the fresh green beans I've been eating with it usually from my garden, but it's still... Okay, what did you just grab? But it's still one of my favorite meals. I'm never not in the mood for this. Boy, get off!